Hello and welcome to another episode of the Gear Room. Today we're going to be talking about koozies. I have this koozie right here for my coffee mug, and we're going to show you how I built it and ways you can build it as well. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of debate here on koozie versus cozy. I've always called them koozies because of these little guys for your beer can, calling them beer koozies. If you say cozy, that's fine as well. I have no issue with that. Tomato, tomato, to each their own, right? So why would you want a koozie? And there's a couple different reasons. During the summer months, you just may have something like this cup, which has this very thin insulator on it. It's mostly to keep you from burning your hands if you've got hot material in here. But if you want to keep stuff hot for a while, you can take one of these koozies and drop it in there. This, for me, is my winter camping cup, and so I want to make sure that my coffee stays warm as long as possible, and so I built this one. This one does not have a top. For the most part, I don't plan to fill this up and set it down and walk away from it. I'm going to fill it up and I'm going to drink it till it's gone. Hot's not the only reason. You want to keep stuff from freezing as well. This is a different one that I made. This one's for my 1.5 liter Nalgene bottle. And so when I go winter camping, I want to do my best to keep this from freezing. And so this koozie will help with that. I also have one for a regular size Nalgene bottle right here, and I will show you how to make one of these. Okay, let's talk about what you're going to need. First, you're going to need some Reflectex. This stuff you can buy at most hardware stores, especially the big box stores, Home Depot, Menards, Lowe's, any of those types of places. This is 16 inches wide or tall, and I forget how long it is. I think I may have gotten a 20-foot roll. I don't recall the cost on this, but I will put a link down in the description to a link for this on Amazon. You're also going to need a roll of aluminum tape. This you can also get at those same big box stores, and I will also have a link for this down in the description. Just a heads up, some of these links may be affiliate links. Doesn't cost you anything, but it may mean a few dollars. That comes back to the channel since you clicked on that link and purchased that item. So, you're also going to need a nice simple pair of scissors. I also have a razor blade knife. This thing here will come in handy. You don't need this. You can stick with just the scissors, but I like to use this. A straight edge is great to have. I like these metal ones, especially if I'm cutting with a blade. I nearly forgot something. Last but not least, you definitely want to have some kind of a marker to make marks while you're measuring things out. I'm going to use a black Sharpie for this. Okay, to start this process, we're going to get our Reflectex and the item that we're going to cover. And first we want to get the diameter of that. And we're going to do this the simplest way, and we're just going to roll that guy up in the Reflectex. Next, we want to make a couple of marks where those two meet. And you want to leave a little extra space. You don't want to be fighting this, getting this bottle in and out of that koozie if you need to. So this is where you're going to want to use that straight edge to either draw that line in, especially if you're going to use scissors. Like I said, I have my razor blade knife here, and I'm just going to use it to cut this. Then I'm just going to double check with my bottle and make sure this fits and it's not going to be super tight. It looks decently good. This looks like it could potentially be a little on the tight side. Next thing I'm going to do is mark the bottom. And with these bottles, I'm going to make sure that this edge right here, you know, you've got this little bit of round piece here. It might be even hard to see in here. But I'm going to go just where it starts to go vertical along the edge of the bottle. That's where I'm going to put my top, and then I'm going to mark where this is on my Reflectex. Because this is a little bit longer, I'm going to put 2 marks on here. And again, I'm just going to use my straight edge and my razor blade knife. Cut that. And this is scrap right now. So now the second part, that scrap piece, you're going to bring that back. You're going to take your bottle. I'm going to bring it close to the edge of this one. And we just need to make the bottom for this now. And I'm just going to draw around the outside edge. And come up with a circle. And on these ones you can see the end's solid, so that's what this circle is for. We're going to cut that out, and that's what's going to cap the end of this. So here I'm just going to use the scissors real quick and cut that out. It doesn't have to be perfect. See, not a perfect circle by any means, but it'll work. Okay, next we're going to move on to the tape. And so there's a couple of ways to do this. You could just take your scissors and cut off sections. And you want them to be about this size, the width of the tape by, I don't know, almost an inch, 3/4 of an inch. But the problem with this is this tape's kind of hard to get off the back of this. So what I found is if you start with the tape and get the tape started. Okay, so I got it there. Get this started. And I found using this little bowl helps support this just perfect for while I'm doing this. But the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to cut these as I need them. So I'm going to start off with cutting a small piece. I'm going to put my bottle in here, line up those 2 edges, top and bottom as well, and just put this in here to hold it. And then I'm going to cut a piece that's about, I don't know, 1.5 inches on either side, larger than the material. Yeah, about like that, so it overlaps a little bit on either side. And so what we're going to do here is a little different. I'm going to start this piece with about 1.5 inches peeled and take that corner. And this is where one of those, it's nice to sometimes have the bottle, this around the bottle. I'm not going all the way down on it because I want room for this piece here. But I'm going to attach that at the top over that seam. I'm doing my best to center this seam with the tape. Get this a little bit started and then I'll show you a close-up. You should be able to see the seams right here. And the tape, I have it as close as possible to centered on that. You want to make sure you're holding that together. And it's always good to keep a hand on the back as you're moving, so you can do your best to keep that centered. Once you get to the end, pull that bottle out. Start with that first side, bend that over and back down. Flip it around, finish off your tape over here and do the same on this side. And then smooth that tape out, especially on the inside. Then you can temporarily put your bottle back in and use that and smooth it out on this side. And that's to make sure that the adhesive on the tape is adhering well to the Reflectex. Next up is this little disc, and we're going to attach that up on top. Just like that. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to start with our tape again. And like I said, we want to cut pieces that are about this size. This piece can be, like I said, we didn't cut it perfectly, and it doesn't have to be perfect on here, and it doesn't necessarily need to be on side or on top, which either way works best. But I'm going to take half this tape and stick it to the top and then bring it down along the side. Again, this is a spot where having the bottle inside will probably help you a little bit. After you've attached that first one and you're getting ready to attach your second, go 180 degrees from where you attached the first one. Put this one on. Now we're going to go 90 from that one. Put this one on. Going to go 180. And just continue like that all the way around. Okay, once you get them all the way around, they look something like this. And if you're making something along the lines like I did for my cup, you can stop there. But if you need a top, let's move on to the second part, the top. Okay, for the lid, it's going to be somewhat of a repeat of what we did to make the bottom of this, except we're going to leave the Reflectex on the bottle because the lid needs to slide over the top of that. So go ahead, roll it out so we can figure out how much we need. Make your marks. Okay, now it's time to find distance. If you're making this for a pot, you may only want to cover a short ways down. But in this case, since this is a water bottle, I would like it to be as insulated as possible. So I'm going to do as much coverage as possible. But I also want to think about being able to grab this and take the top off of it. So I'm going to leave about an inch or so away from the bottom. So now that I got this all together, and because there's about an inch up here already, I'm just going to line that up with the other piece of Reflectex and mark the bottom of this. And that'll make the top and the bottom pieces about the same size, which means when I put that top on, there'll be a little left down here at the bottom. Okay, and we're just going to repeat what we did the last time. Get this all lined up. Cut a little piece to hold it. Okay, I've got one final step that I'm going to do with this one. You don't have to do this one. On these types of bottles, since you're grabbing this top all the time, you can squish the aluminum up here quite a bit. And that sometimes causes these edges to unravel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my aluminum tape and just do one lap around this top just to make sure it gets nice, stays nice and sealed. And I'm just going to do it just like this. Put that on, slowly roll around. Do your best to stay as close to that top as possible. I'm already doing a bit of a junky job here. Could have probably done this a little better. And do just a little bit of an overlap with your initial piece. Try to get that smoothed out. And then again, I'm just gonna, might be easier to do it backwards on this end and just smooth that out. And that way these edges along here aren't exposed for that tape, so when I'm grabbing this end on and off of this, it just will last a little bit longer. And so that's how to make a koozie. If you enjoyed this and found it informative, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you've got any questions, you can always drop those down in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. If you want to see more of my content show up in your feed, you can always also go down below, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to help the channel out, you can always buy me a coffee. There's also a link for that down in the description as well. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.